All right. So we'll wait just a second or two here for students to join us. Welcome, welcome. So sorry for the delay, everyone. We'll hang tight for just a minute while everyone gets logged on. Sorry, technical difficulties, as always is the case with some of these things, but we greatly appreciate your patience. Are so excited to see some of you all this afternoon. And again, if you all wouldn't mind just hanging tight for a minute or two while we get everybody logged on, then we'll go ahead and kick off and get started. So thanks again for joining us today. All right. Okay, looks like we're having a few more log on. So we'll go ahead and get kicked off, and then if more students come and join us, that will be great. We'll welcome them in to have the conversation with us. But as we get started, I just wanted to introduce myself. I am Kate Perry, one of the Associate Deans here at William and Mary. And on behalf of the full admission team and really the university as a whole, wanted to send you a hearty congratulations and welcome from our team and our family here. We are so excited and proud of you, and so eager to show you everything that is William and Mary. So thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully you're finding yourself in the right place. This is one of our Digital Days for Admitted Student sessions with Dr. Kelly Christ from the Wellness Center to talk a little bit about the ways that students flourish here at William and Mary. So with that, I will kick it over to Dr. Christ to go ahead and introduce himself and kick off the session today. And we ask that you hold questions until the final end of the presentation, but then we certainly encourage some engagement as we get to that piece.
Thank you, Kate. It's such a pleasure to be with all of you. And Kate, it's always a pleasure to do meetings with you and to collaborate with you. So thank you for the invitation and for that opportunity. And welcome to all of you. Congratulations. I echo Kate's congratulations for being admitted to William and Mary. And I'm so appreciative of the fact that you're taking time out of your busy schedule to tune in and listen in to find out more about who we are as a community, because that's really the most important thing, is for you to find your community. We want, one of the things that we think about in terms of the undergraduate years is that's one of your first careers. We see it as a career because we want your quality of life to be healthy, to be well, and we want you to flourish. And we have our challenges during these times. This year, I can't imagine, this year for you, as you look and explore opportunities, but doing so under the societal conditions we are under. I envision um, 2 generations from now of your grandchildren or your great niece or great nephew coming to you and wanting to find out, as a part of their middle school project, what was it like during the year of 2020 and 2021 of being the age you were, managing decisions like college and your last year of high school. It's just extraordinary. So it already shows how resilient you are. And what we definitely want is for your decision to come to your next community to be one that feels like a decision that feels like both your head, your heart, all of who you are. This feels right. So, with that, I want you to be able to have as much information as you can so you can discern what's right for you, how to engage in the community that's right for you. And part of that is really around our vision of integrative wellness. So, what I'm going to do is share just a few, I'm going to do 3 things. One, I want to share with you just a little bit about who we are in health and wellness and why that matters to us as a community at William and Mary. Secondly, I want to share a couple of tips with you about, as a teacher, I can't take any moment in front of you without taking a couple of opportunities to teach and to share with you a couple of strategies we've learned from our research around flourishing, especially during these times, during transition times, during periods where you find yourself dealing with chronic too muchness. How do you do that without burning out? And how do you make decisions for you that feel like the right decisions in a healthy way? I'm going to give you a loving challenge and share a couple of strategies with you for you to think about. And then the rest of the time, we'll just open it up for question and answers. And please, I don't know how many answers I have. Kate has all the answers, but I'm happy to field all the questions that I can. And I am absolutely comfortable with saying, I don't know, but I'll find out and I'll get back to you the answers to those. So if you don't mind, let me share my screen a little bit and Kate, you tell me if this comes up okay and if we're doing all right with it. Can you see that all right?
Yeah, looks great.
Great.
Yep.
So just a little bit about who we are. We are the area within student affairs that looks at college student development and growth and and flourishing. And we look at it in a way from health and wellness is how do you thrive? And what are the ways that you can find your harmony of wellness? The departments that are a part of our health and wellness unit, they include campus recreation, the counseling center, health promotion, the student health center, and the Center for Mindfulness and Authentic Excellence, the CMAC Center, which is the heart of our flourishing and resilience, advanced flourishing and resilience training that are not only available for students, but also for staff and faculty. This kind of makes up the department of who we are. But the soul of who we are is kind of housed in certain aspects of buildings and facilities. We have the B. McLeod Recreation Center. We have a lovely assortment of fields and sport club venues. We have the outdoor recreation. We're big into ecotherapy, as to finding your connection with nature and being involved in outdoor activities. And then we have our new McLeod Tyler Wellness Center. It's our integrative wellness center that is really kind of changing the paradigm of how we think about wellness on our college campus. Those are the buildings, but when it's around the soul of being able to look at what the vision of integrative wellness is. The vision of integrative wellness kind of takes away this old paradigm that we used to have between like you're either sick or well, or the absence of disease means you're well. It's really more holistic, and it's really more about the multidimensionality of wellness, and it's also very personally defined. So we see integrative wellness as this holistic, inclusive, self-directed, and constantly evolving process to where every year we want you to find out, what does your harmony of wellness look like through your own personal and cultural lens? And how might that change next year and the next year and the next year? Something that's constantly dynamic. And it's all centered around these 8 dimensions of wellness. We'll talk a little bit about the harmony of that as we walk through this, but this is the philosophy that we live by. One of the things I'm most proud of is recently, over the past couple of years, since our vision of integrative wellness with the new building came into place, is we have students telling us that one of the reasons why they came to William and Mary is because of our focus on wellness, that our focus on being healthy was important. My moonshot is I hope that our new integrative wellness center becomes unremarkable as soon as possible, that it's such a normal part of our existence, that it's something that just feels like, yes, of course this is here. I also believe that I want every building at William and Mary to be a wellness center, that whether you work there or live there or study and learn there, that there's wellness there. There's health. It's healthy for you. In terms of looking at some of our programs, this is the B. McLeod Recreation Center, a beautiful building that is widely used. In fact, over 82% of our students utilize campus recreation in some way. And it's being able to look at the different programs. The facility itself has a wide range from the full pool to indoor and fitness equipment. It's over 90,000 square feet of just a ton of information and a ton of facilities and fitness facilities for you to access. But just take a look at this for a minute. I'm not going to read these to you, but I just want you to get a glimpse of kind of the utilization of the recreation center just in campus recreation, of how often it's used, how often it's open, how many people use us during a day. And the thing we're most proud of is our level of sport clubs and intramurals is at a level that is at the size of universities that are 3 to 4 times our size. Students are involved here, and they're involved in a diverse way. If there's a sport club or if there's an intramurals that they're very interested in and it's not here, they tend to find it and they tend to make it themselves. There's a way to create this. But we have these one, and we're just as involved in informal play. We don't want everything to be structured. We want there to be pickup games, and we want there to be informal play. And don't want you to have to always be great at it. In fact, campus rec and some of the things that our students say is it's the one area they can go and they don't have to be great at it. They can come in and be bad at something to learn, but just because their roommate is doing it, or they always wanted to learn this sport, but just never had the time. And so they're going to take that opportunity. It's a place for us to come and experience wellness in a fun way, in a community way, either by yourself through fitness or socially which we find a lot of students do this just to be as a form of a social outlet by being involved in different intramural clubs, intramural sports, and sports clubs. The different programs we have tons of programs in aquatics. We have the wonderful Fitwell program. Every day we have a number, even with our virtual wellness site. If you go to our virtual wellness site, every day we have programs that start in the very beginning of the morning and end at night, where we have some students doing their yoga in the morning and their meditation in the morning, and they're ending it with some kind of meditative experience. And then during the day, they're doing something vigorous and active. We have informal recreation, which is just that opportunity and the importance of play. The intramurals and sport club programs, as I mentioned, is very vibrant and very robust. But one of the things that's really cool too is our Tribe Adventure program, which is really looking at the outdoor recreation facilities. We are in a beautiful part of the country. Our campus is beautiful with Lake Matoka and Matoka Woods around us. Even during the pandemic, every weekend we would have campouts. And even though we used to go camping out in the Blue Ridge Parkway and everything like that, we had campouts in in Matoka Woods. We had our campfires, safe campfires in Matoka Woods. At Lake Matoka, we have moonlight canoeing, and we have being able to sunset on paddle boards, doing all kinds of things that allow us to get in touch with nature, because we know that it affects your blood pressure, it affects your critical thinking, it affects your creative thinking. It's all a part of finding your level of wellness. We also have the Pathways program, which is this is a pre-orientation program. So we'd love for you to look at that as you think about coming to college. This is a program that starts a couple of weeks before the semester, and it has shown to be incredibly successful, where you go and get a chance to be involved in outdoor rec from a number of programs. And you do so with a group of students, with tribe leaders that are upper class students that have also gone through Pathways. And you spend a week, whether you're hiking the AT or whether you're doing surfing or stand-up paddleboarding, no matter what you're doing, or doing rock climbing, you do it together. And then you come together at the end of the week and you integrate your narrative as to what did I learn from this. But we have found that our students say, I found some of my lifelong friends in the Pathways program. And our research shows they do better academically, they do better socially. It's a wonderful pre-orientation program. Even though this past year we weren't able to do the program because of the pandemic, here's what we did the year before. So it gives you an idea of what we'll do this coming year. Knock wood, we'll be able to do this coming year. And so it gives you an idea of some of the programs that we offer. We have 2 sessions, 2 weeks before classes start and then the week before class starts. But it can involve backpacking, canoe camping, the Shenandoah experience. They're all just great programs. We also have the new Integrative Wellness Center. And I want to just give you a little virtual tour of it through slides and being able to look at this. And it really gets at this aspect of seeing things from a full continuum. We have from health promotion to prevention to our traditional medicine interventions, as well as our complementary treatment modalities. So it's a beautiful building that has just as much outside we have meditative gardens, we have Zen gardens, we have a compassion garden outside, to where we get at the social dimension of wellness and the physical experience of environmental wellness. As you notice in the back, it looks out to a wildflower refuge that'll never be built on. And you'll see different, right now, things are in bloom and the beautiful purple azaleas are behind that. And being able to see that through the windows, it's called a biophilic design, where we're bringing the outside in to where when you walk in the building, it feels like you're actually, that the outside is coming in towards you. We have our meditation, our Zen garden, which gives you an opportunity to just do meditation through the experience of doing your own creative kind of expression through the garden, using rakes and texture and rocks and gravel. We have our walking meditation labyrinth, where you can do prayer meditation or regular mindfulness meditation as you walk through the labyrinth. As you can see, when you walk through, you see the outside coming in on you, and everything is light and bright and natural. But we have our complementary treatment modalities, to where in addition to our traditional medicines, we have yoga, art therapy, expressive therapy, Tai Chi, mindfulness, both beginning and advanced mindfulness, because we're finding out we have students coming to college that are saying, I've been doing mindfulness since middle school. I've been doing yoga since elementary school. So they're ready for more advanced stages of yoga and mindfulness. We have acupuncture, Tai Chi, biofeedback. All of these are a part of the experience that you can have by coming to the Integrative Wellness Center. We even have meditation alcoves that's also around the neurodiversity perspective, to where we have it organized with the windows and everything, to where no matter where you are on the spectrum in terms of our neurodiversity, whether you're neurotraditional or neurodiverse, it's being able to utilize things in a way that's calming and being able to be soothing. Then we have our counseling centers, and our counseling centers, it's a beautiful setting where it's not like your traditional thing of what you think of as a counseling center. It's open, it's light, we find students all the time that come up and they say, I'm coming to the wellness center. And what they're doing is they're coming to the counseling center, but there's no more stigma attached to it. It's more like, this is how I take care of myself. I'm just heading up to the counseling center to practice my wellness. It's a beautiful setting where students come to learn, to study, to engage in wellness, but it's doing so with respect for your own cultural and personal lens. And so what we hope is, from a very inclusive standpoint, is that no matter what cultural or personal lens you have of wellness, you'll find something there that'll speak to you. So that's kind of the heart of who we are. But we also know we're doing this in a pretty absurd world right now. We're doing so in a world that it has collective uncertainty, collective anxiety. It's a relentless world of noise and pressure and pace. And there's always this portfolio culture where we feel like it's always got to be linear and always moving forward. That's so much pressure. We have things in our society right now that are scary, that are upsetting to us. We feel them. How do we flourish through chronic too muchness? How do we flourish through this year of working so hard to get into the schools that you want, and then also feeling burned out and wanting to just rest and relax, and having to go through the stress of this waiting period? All of these things, each and every one of them is too much. I'm a psychologist by training. I'm a shrink by training. And my life's work has been in the area of flourishing, of what really truly predicts flourishing. And I've spent over 30 years studying this. And one of the things that we find is that there are no natural born flourishers. People that flourish work at it. They're very intentional about it. There's no secret island of super flourishers. People that flourish, they do the work because they see the value in being well. And they realize that the world around them is not always going to help them be well. And so what we find is it's not what happens to you or around you that determines whether you flourish. It's how you respond and perceive what's happening. And so what I want to do is I want to give you a loving challenge. I'm going to give you something that I want you to try every day now for the next 8 weeks as you move to the end of your final year. This has been shown that people that flourish through chronic too muchness, they mindfully and intentionally focus on these. It's 6 steps, but it's kind of a cluster of 3. I call them the essential nourishment and the essential seasoning for flourish. So there's 3 steps to flourishing that is the essential nourishment. It's foundational. But then there's 3 essential seasonings that if you add it to that foundation, it makes it become even more robust and even more effective. So when we look at flourishing, what we're really talking about is kind of a consistent level, not a perfect level, but we define flourishing as a consistent level of productivity, fulfillment, and resilience. And so when you're flourishing, you feel like you're doing good work, you find meaning in that work, and you also find yourself to be resilient through the hardness and harshness and sometimes unfairness of the world around that work. So what do we mindfully do to manage chronic too muchness? Before I give you these 6 steps, I have 2 questions that I need you to reflect on before we can go to those 6 steps, because it's related to these steps. These are 2 unfair questions, by the way, but we can imagine anything. So here are the questions. First question: if you could only be remembered for one thing, which is totally unfair because you're going to be remembered for a lot of things, but if you could only be remembered for one thing, one characteristic, one quality, what would that be? Like when I remember Kate, the only thing I remember about Kate, I can't remember anything else about Kate, but I can remember this. What would she hope that I would say? This is not a tombstone question, by the way, of what do you want on your tombstone at the end of your life? Now, this can be someone that enters your life for a week. What do you hope they remember about you? If you could only be remembered for one thing, what would that be? So clarify that. And the second question: if you could actually be remembered for 2 things, what would be the second thing you'd add to the first? If you could be remembered for two things, what would be the second thing you would add to the first? Think about that for a moment. So with that in mind, here's what I want you to try out. Try this every day for 8 weeks. Takes less than 5 minutes. It's good training. It's good brain training. I want you to start off every day with this question. What opportunities are there for me to practice the two things that I said I want to be remembered for? And be realistic with your time and energy. These two things get at purpose, get at something that's very meaningful to you. In fact, contrast that with if I asked you over the past 48 hours, what two things have you been most worried about? How much were they related to those two things you most want to be remembered for? Am I really, when I'm sitting there thinking about um, my next assignment or the next present, if I'm sitting there thinking about, okay, I've got to get my slides ready for Kate's PowerPoint presentation at 4 o'clock tomorrow. That's what I've been thinking about. But is that really what I want to be remembered for? How do I put that in perspective? So be realistic with your time and energy. And there may be one day that you say, with everything else going on in my life today, I can maybe step into these two things for 30 seconds. And another day you may say, I actually could do these all day. I could immerse myself in these two things all day. But always start out every day with what opportunities are there for me to practice today the two things that I said I want to be most remembered for. And then when you do practice those two things, do so with complete experiential acceptance. That means I accept whatever happens. This is a hard one. This is hard because whenever we engage in things that matter to us, we just naturally want a fair outcome. We want good outcomes. That's just human nature. But what this starts to do is this starts to redefine success and redefine self-worth rather than defining success by the results of me practicing these two things. It starts to redefine success by the expression of those things, by you engaging in those two things, and to redefine success that way. And then at the end of the day, take just a moment and appreciate how you practice those two things. With no buts allowed, by the way. No buts allowed. You can't say, well, I did this for an hour, but I could have done it for 2, or I did this, but I could have done it so much better. No, no buts allowed. What this gets at is meaning. We often think that purpose and meaning are the same thing. They're actually a little different. Purpose is motivational. Meaning is reflective. So the first step gets at purpose. It starts to move you away from the most natural motivators of human beings, which is fear and comfort. Most people are driven by fear and comfort. So we just go through the have tos of the day and then seek comfort, just have tos and comfort. But the deepest form of human motivation that overrides fatigue and fear are our values, but only if we activate them. And the way you activate them is that first question. How do I practice the two things I want to be remembered for? That gets into purpose. But the last one gets into meaning. And what happens is when you do this third step, which is actually the most neglected step, we tend to be really bad at this last step. What happens is it starts to transform purpose into meaning. And when we live a meaningful life, we can withstand enormous stress. So I may sit there and say, everybody always tells me that Kate is just this really cool person and a brilliant person that you can really learn a lot from if you hang around with her. So I develop a purpose and say, okay, I have a purpose to hang around Kate more. But it's not until I actually do that and reflect on it that I'll know if it's meaningful or not. I may come up at the end of the day and say, well, that was a big dud. Or I may find that's exactly what I thought it was going to be. That's exactly what I hoped it would be. But it's not until that moment that then it becomes meaningful. So what this actually gets at is the essential nourishment for flourishing. It's purpose, acceptance, and meaning. Have those three parts of your day be very intentional and be very mindful. It both prevents burnout, but if you're already in burnout, it helps you recover from burnout too. It provides that best perspective. And here's the seasonings. If you want to sprinkle a little seasoning on this to get this more effective, every day, here are your 3 seasonings. Every day, step into something enjoyable. Even if it's for 10 seconds, do something enjoyable. Every day, step into something healthy. Do something healthy every day. And every day, both give and receive encouragement. Support is important. And it's just as important to us to give encouragement as it is to receive it. But step into something enjoyable and healthy and encouraging every day. Practice this every day for 8 weeks and see what you notice, especially during this absurdly noisy, pressuring time in your life. This will help keep you centered. The last thing I'll leave you with is one of the things that we focus on is you will never hear us at William and Mary use the term stress reduction. Our staff doesn't believe in stress reduction because stress is a function of caring. You can't care about anything. You can't be stressed about anything you don't care about. And you can't care about anything without being reminded of the uncertainty of that. You never completely control everything that you care about. So there's always some uncertainty about that. And that's why we experience stress. We want you stressed at William and Mary because we want you engaged in things that matter to you. What we focus on is stress management. We want you to engage in the things that matter to you, but we want you to hold them in a healthy way. And just imagine if every day I'm engaging in something that matters to me and I'm taking time to define my success by just the engagement in that. And I'm taking time every night to reflect on that, the meaning of that. And every day has something enjoyable and healthy and encouraging as a function of my intentionality. Just look at how you'd flourish there and look at how you develop a community, a caring community that allows you in your first career to really flourish and be healthy. We're just a phone call away. In fact, what I'd love for you to do, my loving challenge, I gave you the challenge, so I ought to be accountable to it, is I would love for you in 8 weeks to give me a call on my cell phone or to shoot me an email and tell me what you noticed after trying this challenge. I also wanted to give a big shout out to my colleague, Linda Knight. She's my executive director of health and wellness, and she also directs the campus rec. And she just does a wonderful job of really bringing health and wellness into the culture of William and Mary. But the interesting thing is we're not the owners of health and wellness. Admissions and Kate and her colleagues, they started from the very beginning of how do we be well at William and Mary. And our people that are in charge of commencement with graduation, we punctuate it with health and wellness and everything in between. So with that in mind, I want to stop sharing in the screen and bring it back and see if we have any comments or questions or anything that I can be of help with or anything that Kate can wisely answer.
Yes, we certainly hope that you take this time to reach out to us. I mean, I think if there's anything that you take from the multiple of sessions, hopefully that you've had a chance to attend through Digital Day for Admitted Students, is that we're here as a resource for all of you. And I think Dr. Kreis especially pronounces that by giving his full contact information and encouragement for you to be in touch. And I can attest he does mean it, which is really wonderful too. So please, please, please drop in any questions that you might have about anything that Dr. Kreis discussed or anything beyond that, the culture of William & Mary campus, students' life, academic. We're happy to touch on anything that we can give some examples to. So we would love that.
One of the things I would love for you to think about too is know that I'd love for you to explore our wellness site, especially our virtual wellness site. So if you go into the William and Mary portal and you just Google search wellness in the William and Mary portal, you'll see our wellness site. And if you click on our wellness site, you'll see all our different programs and resources. But if you click on the virtual wellness site, you'll see programs that are available to everybody, not just at William and Mary. It's open to the general public, but you'll see the list of programs and offerings and live programs, archived programs, recorded programs that are both instructional and experiential. We also have a wellness app that you can also go to and look at. And we have the Ways to Flourish podcast that you can find that on the virtual wellness site. The Ways to Flourish podcast is a bi-weekly podcast that we offer that picks on different topics and practical strategies of how to flourish. That's something that's become very popular and that a lot of not only people we marry, but beyond we marry are tuning in for.
Well, excellent. It looks like we've got some questions dropping in here, which is very exciting. So
Great.
Kelly, our first question that we have is about the summer programs and the selectivity and perhaps the admission process to get into those summer programs, what that might look like.
That's great, Kate. Thank you. And it's a great question. It we really try to expand it to offer the program so that for the people that really want to get into it, they can usually get into it. There's different popularities. So what we encourage you to do is as soon as you make your decision that you reach out about the opportunities to apply. But generally what we've done is we've tried to have the staffing match the level of demand. Again, we don't know what fall is going to look like, but we feel hopeful that we will be able to offer the Pathways program. And so what we do is, um, if you apply, we find that we try to keep the groups kind of small with each one, but we can add to it if we need to. So far, we've not had too many problems with people being denied from the program. Sometimes you don't get your first choice. So if you apply for the rock climbing and that fills up too quickly, then you might be able to do the backpacking. But generally, we find people able to get in. But as it gets more and more popular, we just encourage people to apply as soon as possible. I also noticed that there's the question about how hard is it to get into the things at the wellness center, such as the yoga and the counseling. We do have a lot of demand, but we also have a lot of wellness professionals that are able to get at offering programs. So what we've been doing is we've been seeing where the highest demand is, and then we bring wellness professionals into it. For instance, we have an we're one of the only universities in the country that have an advanced yoga teacher training program where we certify students to become student employees and be certified yoga teachers, to where they can, after they graduate, they can go into any yoga studio and be a teacher. But what we do is that gives us kind of an army of yoga instructors to where we can plug things in, where we had sunset yoga at Lake Matoka, and we have the first yoga first thing in the morning. And we have different types of yoga: yin yoga, meditative yoga, athletic yoga. All of those things are a part. So we offer so many different things. You can usually always find a slot that's open for you. And the cool thing about it is you can just register on your phone. You can go into the app, you sign in into the Fitwell program. There's no charge, it's free, and you can go in and just register online. So you can immediately tell if it's full, if there's a waiting list. You can get on the waiting list, so if someone drops off, you can move into the program. And so we make it very easy for people to sign into it. For our clinical services, as you know, in all universities right now, we have a high demand for mental health support. And so we have a high demand for our counseling services, as every university has. And so what we encourage people to do is to reach out as soon as possible. We were able to get students in, and we do a triage prospect of what is the support that you need that's best for you. It might be within the scope of our counseling center. It might be in the community. It might be in the CMAX program, the flourishing program, or it might be in various things. So it might be meditation. So we just don't always assume that it's got to be talk therapy. It can be ecotherapy, and can be a wide range of services. And so by us expanding what counseling and mental health support look like, we're usually able to meet that demand pretty well. Wonderful questions.
Yeah, those are great questions. Really, really great questions. Any other questions that we can address while we're with everyone here today? Looks like another one popped in. This is a good one. What do you think makes William & Mary students the #1 happiest students in the country? So thank you for that touting of the wonderful
Yes,
thinking that
thank
we've
you.
received.
We can't say that because it just makes us look like we're bragging or that we're trying to infuse that. But thank you for bringing that up. And I would love for Kate to provide her answer as well. From my perspective, what I have seen is the authenticity that students are allowed to be. One of the things I find about our students is they say, I don't have to fit a profile at William & Mary. I can be me. And in fact, I've had students tell me before that were either on the spectrum or had a complex mental health issue. Because I'm a psychologist, I will see a lot of those students. They will tell me that they will often put in the answers to their essays to certain questions to see if people follow up with them, or to see if there is a question that we can provide support on. And then our wonderful admission staff, they check in, or if they care about our applicants, whether you're admitted or not, they care about our applicants. And so this true caring for you being authentic and caring about flourishing, we're so invested in providing opportunities for you, but you also have to join us in being engaged. And here's what I found about our William & Mary students. They are students that are very caring and very sensitive, and they're very serious about what they care about. They're engaged in what they care about. They want to step into things they care about. And so because of that, they're sometimes overwhelmed by it. We're here to help them manage what they care about in a very healthy way. And when you do that, when you're living a life of meaning, that's truly what happiness is. What we find in flourishing is people that chase the emotion of happiness tend to not be very happy because they're very emotion led. When you chase meaning, when you chase purpose and meaning, you experience more happiness because you're being values led and emotional. Being emotional is good. Our emotions are wonderful things. It provides us a deeper level of awareness. But are you emotion led? Are you fear led? Are you comfort led? Or are you values led? And when you're values led, you can actually be fully emotional and fully yourself. And when I can find a community where I am affirmed for just who I am and that I can provide opportunities to engage in things that matter to me, it doesn't get any better than that. And that's what we try to do. We succeed every day and we fail every day at that. And we're committed to continuing to improve in that process. So just like you're going to succeed and fail every day, and we're going to succeed and fail every day. And what we learn in that is there actually is no failure. It's really just disappointment. And that's because we don't control everything that happens to us. So that's kind of why I believe our students find themselves to be, they live a life of meaning, and that's why they're happy. Kate, what do you think?
I don't think I could have put it more eloquently or research based than that. But I think certainly to kind of reiterate that aspect is something that we hear from students from the admission perspective too. Is like, what are you looking for when you're trying to find the perfect William and Mary student? And it's a really hard question to answer because it's not always a tangible feature. I'm often telling students, I want you to show me the full you, and I want you to be confident in everything that you want to be. And when we see that in an application, it's a really attractive feature because we know when that student gets to William and Mary, we've seen it play out year after year. When those students come to William and Mary and they get to be their full authentic self and explore all the different aspects of themselves, whether that's academic or extracurricular, that they thrive. They do really, really well here, and they find peers that care immensely about everything, including
Yes.
their other peers and their peers' interests and their engagement and their wellness. And that makes for a really warm and welcoming and happy place to find yourself, even during some of these wild times and the normal stresses and challenges of a college career, that come along with that. That they manage that and hold that well, and are there for each other when the times get hard. And I think that's something that collaborative community is something that's really strongly felt at William and Mary.
Yeah, I so agree with that. Our wonderful wellness ambassadors, which are our student wellness ambassadors, they developed an initiative called Wellness Your Way. And now that has been expanded and it's grown to be a campus initiative. But Wellness Your Way really means, what does wellness look like for you? And for some people, it can be quiet engagement. There are some people that are kind of shy, and that the things that are meaningful to them are somewhat quiet. And it doesn't have to be, being engaged doesn't mean have to be out there and loud. And then there are some people that are out there and loud. The nice thing about it is all are affirmed and all are respected in that.
Mhm.
The other question about are there costs for the outdoor adventure programs? And many of them are free. Like the things we've been offering lately, they've been free when they're on campus. Most of them are free, and all of them are subsidized to keep the cost very, very low. And the reason for that is we want this to be as inclusive as possible. We don't want these to be programs just for the privileged. We want them to be for everyone. And for some people, they don't have the resources. And the reason they've not engaged in these things before is they've not had the resources. So yes, when we go to, like, during the normal year, we have an outdoor adventure program every weekend. There's a camping trip going out every weekend. And so for some of them, like if we go to the Blue Ridge, if we go to the AT, we might ask for $10 to kind of help subsidize some of the equipment or the food and that type of thing. But we pay for the large share of it so that you can still do it. And even if $10 is too much for you, we find a way to make it happen. So it is subsidized to where the costs are very, very low, if at all. Most of the ones we offer are free.
That's a fantastic question. I did want to make mention, we did have, as Dr. Christ mentioned, Linda Knight and the Student Recreation Center. There is another session on the Student Recreation Center that I think happened at the end of last week. So we have the recording up on the website too. If anybody wanted to explore some of those features in a little more depth and detail, I definitely would encourage that too.
That's great.
Any other questions that we have before we let you get back and on with your evening? It's certainly okay if not. Well, we just wanted to make sure that we leave you all today with again a hearty welcome to William and Mary. A huge congratulations on your achievement and success. It's truly incredible, and we are humbled every year as we go through this process by how fantastic our applicants are, and hopeful soon-to-be students will be here at William and Mary. So thank you, thank you, thank you for coming to the information session today. Thank you so much, Dr. Price, for joining us.
Sure.
We certainly hope to see you all at more digital DFAS events or more digital days for admitted student events throughout the remainder of this week. And again, be mindful if you missed anything, or I know we started a little bit late, so if you jumped in halfway through or wanted to go through the whole exercise again, I'd encourage you to check out this session after we post it. I know that's always helpful as you're taking down notes. So definitely encourage you to do that, and know that the full library of all of the recorded sessions will be available on the Welcome website. And you can also take your next steps, whether that's bookings, orientation, or depositing, sending in your deposit. All of that can be done through the Welcome website. So make sure you use that resource. But again, thank you so, so much for joining us. We hope you all have a wonderful evening and a great rest of your week. But have a great day, and thanks for being here.
Thank you. Congratulations, everyone. Take care, Kate. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tilly. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.